This episode of the PI Planning Cooking Show is about how to leverage your last PI planning in order to improve your next one.
Welcome to the PI Planning Cooking Show with Shane Harrison.
So you've just finished your last PI planning and you've got a wall full of retrospective results. That's great. That's a good start. But I have a suggestion for you. Do a short survey. Whether you use SurveyMonkey or you use the survey function from Google, do a short survey. The benefit of the survey is that people can do this anonymously and they will share things with you on the survey that they will not share with you in the room when people are watching. So there are a couple of different ways to approach the survey, but one of the ways that I approach it is I will ask 12 questions. The first 4 questions will be about simple logistics. Basically, how well was the event run from just a simple event management perspective? Sometimes you'll find some simple things in there that you can improve with little or no cost. The next 4 questions would be typical retro questions, whichever retrospective questions that you like. Simple things like what went well, what didn't go well, what would you start, what would you stop? Or it could be just 3 questions like what went well, what didn't go well, and what are some innovative ideas you would make to improve things. And the last 4 questions are targeted questions. These are questions targeted at specific areas of the preparation or execution of PI planning itself. Most of the time you will have heard rumors or grumbles or backchat about maybe something that just wasn't quite working right. And you can use the survey to dig a little deeper, ask some more specific questions. So you may ask questions like, did you fully understand the features before you started? Were the features elaborated enough before socialization started? Just questions like that. And that will make a big difference. Then what you do when you've collected all of those results is you look at what are the things that I can do easily. Remember, it's always important that the art understands that you are listening. So sometimes you'll get feedback that says, could you start the coffee half an hour earlier? If we're starting PI planning at 8 o'clock, could you have coffee available from 7:30 instead of having coffee for the first time available at 10? That's an easy thing for you to do, but it also sends a very clear message to the teams and the people in the organization that you are listening and acting. That's the easy stuff. The next step, you actually need to look at the feedback and say, is this going to have a positive impact on my PR planning, but of course on my art, or if you're in a solution, on the solution as a whole. You definitely will from time to time get feedback where you look at it and think, yeah, that would be great for maybe an individual or maybe a single team, but ultimately it's actually not good for the art, or maybe it's not good for the product. You want to filter those things out. The next thing you do is you take the remaining list and you go through it and look at the materiality of the impact. Is this going to really improve either my execution of my PI planning or my preparation of my PI planning? And that's the method you use for prioritization. Remember that in order for you to improve the product for your client, you have a series of backlogs that identify the changes that you need to make to that product so they can either leverage a business opportunity or they can solve a problem. And you should take the same view when you look at your art execution model. So how does your art run? What does your art cadence look like? And thus you should have an art improvement backlog where you keep track of all of the things you need to do in order to improve your execution. Once these things go into the art improvement backlog, they should be prioritized against everything else that is there. There may be other improvements that you're making in that backlog that are more important from the art's operation than any of the improvements or some of the improvements that you had identified out of PI planning. Just remember, we are running an iterative model. We are not trying to fix all of the things at once. These things will be happening over and over again, and what we need to do is make sure we act on the thing that is most important. So look into that art improvement backlog, prioritize and execute. So I hope this helps you in terms of leveraging the retrospective results, pulling in a little bit extra, and having a better PI planning than you did last time, or maybe the best PI planning you've ever had. If you remember, during this episode I mentioned something called the cadence model. This cadence model is critical for managing, executing and improving your art. In the next episode we're going to talk about what that cadence model is, how to build one for yourself, and situations where you would use it.
That's the PI Planning Cooking Show with Shane Harrison.